So, whether you're considering an equipment upgrade, adding new tech, or just need a trained eye to service what you have, check us out. Creep on us at BoyckFarmOutfitters.com and get connected with our team of experts. We're excited to help you find what's next. That's BOECK FarmOutfitters.com.
Stop into Zollner Ford of Beatrice and check out a brand new 2026 Ford Explorer for only $39,995. That's right, under $40,000 for a brand new Explorer, loaded with extras like Copilot 360, second row captain's chairs, and more. With approved credit, receive financing as low as 2.9%. Treat mom to a new Explorer for Valentine's Day this year from Zollner Ford of Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect. MSRP $45,175.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in January. Try their hot chocolate latte, cookie croissants, and special winter flavor hot cocoa cream cheese on any bagel. 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward, Bagels and Joe. Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Let's fly. Your next trip starts at Lincoln Airport with American Airlines. Now flying nonstop service to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Chicago. American Airlines connects Lincoln to major hubs and destinations around the globe. Wherever you're headed, LNK gets you there with new nonstop flights on American Airlines.
Now boarding.
Convenient, fast, and stress-free. Book your next flight at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
Tomorrow is about the lessons we learn today. A farmer's market teaches us that community is grown together. Kids laughing shows us how joy is easy. And coffee on the porch reminds us to savor every moment. These are the lessons that shape a tomorrow we all share. One filled with trust, good company, and wide open dreams. That's the way banking should be. And that's Pinnacle Bank. Member FDIC.
Sports Show! Don't miss the family show of outdoor fun, the 57th annual Boat Sport and Travel Show, January 30th to February 1st at the Sandhills Global Event Center. RVs, boats, docks, golf carts, resorts, fishing lures, family entertainment, and more. See exotic animals at Wildlife Encounters. Enjoy the petting zoo and the balloon lady. Doors open at noon on Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. Bring the neighbors. See you there.
Sports Show! If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert, driving left side, his Boyer picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of B.J. Bradford up the floor to Jack Hostrider. Watch out! Bafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good!
It's on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
happy Friday. We've made it to the end of the week here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert, once again, today, no Aaron Davis, as he is still under the weather. I got a text last night from him around, 6 or 7 p.m., and he said, Swim, I'm out tomorrow. I can't do it. So he is still under the weather. And with that, no Jay Foreman today. We did go to Austin Orman. Austin, good morning, my friend. Thanks for showing up today.
You know what? Second try is the charm. I had full plans and full designs on being here yesterday,
That's
but with my infant throwing up and my wife under the weather as well, you got a text from me just right before about 4 o'clock in the morning saying, you know what? I'm not sure this is going to work.
Everybody's under the weather right now. I'm hesitant to say this just because I'm nervous, but I'll knock on wood here. That I have yet to get the crappiest of crappy stuff that everybody else is getting right now. Like Jake was severely sick. Jake and I were together that entire weekend before, and I somehow dodged it. Our good friend David was with us that weekend. He got the crappy stuff. I was able to dodge it, thankfully.
Bill Diff.
Now, well, maybe. And now AD is under the weather and seems to be dealing with that stuff as well. So, plus, you throw in all the travel that you and I have done, Austin, and it's like, all right, there's been a lot of planes for you. It's been a lot of just public areas as well. And plus, you got a young kid at home, which is just a germ pool.
They both are in the best way, right? Yeah. And that certainly comes to mind. But it just, as a dad, it's different too, because so Beckett was a spitty kid.
Okay.
So we were kind of used to him, throwing up his milk or whatnot, but he actually threw up like an adult for the first time.
Oh.
And that sucked.
Oh, so was it Beckett that got sick?
So that was Beckett on Sunday.
Okay.
And then again Monday morning. And then Wednesday then. Cooper's been more of a pooper than a spitter.
Yeah.
And he actually had big throw-ups for the first time overnight.
Wow.
And so it's just so different.
That's incredible.
Trying to go through. But yeah, they are germ pools and they don't even go to daycare. That's the other thing.
And Jake's daughter Scotland obviously does, and he acknowledges that it's probably just a germ place. But anyway, Bolt texts in, "Did you get my hoodie, Swim?" Bolt, I did not. I don't know who you need to talk to. I don't know who you left it with. If you left it with somebody from the early break crew, there's your first problem.
If they're the neon green ones, there was a whole pile of them. They're more in back.
Oh, okay,
I believe.
cool.
So
okay, perfect.
If it's another hoodie, though, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'll track it down, Bolt, because I appreciate the offer. Sipple is wearing, or not wearing, but is holding one right now. So I wonder if that's supposed to be mine. Who knows? Sipple takes a lot of things. Crowbait says we've got a lot of people in the shop homesick with the flu. Yeah, it's bad. It's going around. So be safe and do all the stuff you need to do to try to avoid it. Okay, big show today. Big busy show today. As always, 402-464-5685 Honda Lincoln Hotline, the Starter Hammond text line open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Hammond Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Cable channel 961. You can always reach out to myself and Austin on the good old Twitter and X sphere, Nick_Sainert, and at Austin_Orman. Speaking of Twitter, Austin, my Twitter, and this is not like a toot my own horn thing. I cannot get Michigan fans out of my replies right now.
You tweet one thing.
It is relentless right now. And they are coming at me. They are DMing me. They are, because I don't pay for the Twitter Blue thing.
Same.
And so anybody can just message me. When you pay for Twitter Blue, you have to be verified to message other verified people.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, I have angry Michigan fans talking about how I don't know what I'm talking about with the empty seats in the arena. I have people that don't know what they're saying I don't know what I'm talking about how the Michigan shooter went into Sam Hoiberg on the 3-point shot. I understand that you have to give the shooter space to land. You also cannot kick out your legs. By definition, by rule, it is an unnatural shooting motion. That is the exact quote from the rule book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't expect to draw beef from Michigan people over the week, but here we are on a Friday still dealing with it.
Michigan is a very online fan base. I'm sure you and Jay have talked about Michigan too, and he just does not appreciate the people from that state up north as fans of An Ohio State University would call them. I'm not shocked. Like, it's kind of surprising that it's Friday. I mean, here's the thing, Michigan fans, leave Nick alone. You got a bigger game tonight, right? I mean, it's not a top 5 game like Nebraska Michigan was, and that's not to belittle that game. But this is a rivalry game. Yeah. You got Michigan State tonight. Well, let's leave Nick alone, right? Yeah. Read the rule book first and be prepared for tonight's game against Michigan State. I'm not surprised. They're pretty online. They're very vocal about what they do. I'd love to know how many Nebraska fans are in other, reporters or, game coverers mentions. I mean, we know that the meme army comes out after wins, but I wonder if that translates to DMs or not.
I don't know. I was caught off guard by the amount of reaction. I expected, some of the tweets, especially the one about, criticizing how few people were there with 7 minutes to go in the first half. I wasn't surprised that one got a little bit of traction. I was surprised that the one about, once again, Sam Hoiberg's charge, Cale Jacobson getting called for a foul when he's just boxing out his bigger opponent
twice.
Like he just twice. There's moments, man. Austin, and I don't know if this is fixable. Like I just, because yes, by rule, those probably shouldn't be fouls on Cale Jacobson. Mm-hmm. But I also wonder, like, the human element, like we talk about it with baseball all the time, the human element of just making judgment calls when the bullets are flying in the moment. Like, you can train as much as you want, and I just don't know if that changes your decision making in the moment when you're not maybe even thinking about, oh, I've trained on this, right?
Well, it's a game that gets played so fast, right? You have to make a split-second decision with no hard or fast rule, right? It's open to interpretation. Yeah. And that's why, some games you see let him play. Other days you see, no, it's kind of ticky-tack. It's pretty quick whistle. And there's, I think, got to be some of that wiggle room for interpretation. It doesn't change the fact that there are some pretty egregious misses, and I think that there is a place for replay in the game, but there's always going to be missed calls. I think it'll really come up when it is the egregious ones, or, when you feel particularly aggrieved from your team. When, Cale Jacobson is one of Nebraska's, 6.5 really available players, and half of his fouls are stupid, right? Yeah. Sam Hoiberg down to his last one and doesn't get the benefit of the doubt with the landing zone or with the charge, right? It's just such a difficult thing to do that I do want to give the officials some grace for a game that's being played that quick.
Yeah.
But holy cow. I mean, at some point you do just got to get it right too.
I think that a lot of this, it goes back to something I told AD on Wednesday when I called in from Detroit, the Detroit airport. I called in and I was like, look, I didn't care. Call it however you want, right? Like, I think the thing that we're all looking for is just be a little consistent with it. Mm-hmm. Have it to where you can, if you're going to call something in the first half, call it in the second half. Don't be back and forth.
Right.
And what bothered me, we talked about this on the post game. What bothered me the most was that in the first half, they let him play. And that was, as I would say, maybe from a defensive standpoint, it wasn't a great first half for either side because the guys were just shooting the lights out. And at some point, you just do tip your cap, say, okay, you're shooting over 60% from the field. Just nothing stopping you today. Mm-hmm. But then that was some, from a fundamental, enjoyable standpoint, that was enjoyable to watch. Like, the first half was, this is a top 5 game. It has a March feel to it. This is a big time moment for both of these teams. And yet then in the second half, how do the officials insert themselves? They call 4 fouls in the first 2.5 minutes of the second half. Yeah. And it's like, you can't get any rhythm to go. You can't start off. And that's what it felt like. Sure, there were moments where maybe the rhythm and the pace was interrupted in the first half, but in the second half, it felt so choppy. And that's where, I mean, you look at it, and some of it also could play out in the stats. That I think Michigan only hit 6 shots in the entire second half. Things like that are due not only because of Nebraska, but they're also due to the officials inserting themselves in games where they just don't need to be, when the game was being officiated fine, but it could have been officiated consistently for a full 40 minutes.
Yeah, and I think that is probably the bigger gripe I would have as a Husker fan looking at the refs, is that the game was played at Nebraska's tempo in the first half, fast enough, but not too fast, and pretty free-flowing. Sure, there were fouls. Sure, there were stoppages. And that's something I think to keep in mind too, Nick. Nebraska having to weigh that as long as their rotation is reduced, as long as it is, sometimes getting those stoppages for out of bounds, for replays, for free throws could be a moment for a Price Sanford or Sam Hoiberg to catch their breath.
Yeah.
But Nebraska has played better all year when it's up and down, right? Fred Hoiberg says we don't want to have to take the ball out of the net, which they were doing a lot in the first half, but they were making Michigan do it too. So they at least had a chance to set up their own defense. But when a game is so stop and start, part of what makes Nebraska so good is that transition where they don't get a lot of fast break points, but they can get some of those cross matches, get the right matchup, hunt it, and go from there without having to set up the offense. And when Michigan has a chance to set its defense, when Michigan's allowed to be, a little handsy, a little grabby, that's when it throws Nebraska off. And I think also Nebraska's dealt with that for 3.5 games now. Second half of Northwestern was like that. Washington was like that all the way through. Minnesota was like that, especially in the first half. And then Michigan all day long. Either got to adjust to, okay, this is how it's being called in the Big Ten, or the Big Ten's got to get a handle on it and say, hey, you know what? You can't just grab these off-ball cutters the way that seems like teams have been more than willing to do against Nebraska.
Austin, you might have a better way to explain this, because I'm not sure if there is a rule and by definition way to explain it. Murph sends in a text, 402-464-5685, says, someday I need someone to explain the difference between undercutting a guy on a rebound and over the back. It seems to me that Nebraska gets called for both undercutting and over the back. I am perpetually confused. I think, like, before I pass it to you to explain, that was what I kind of gathered from Nebraska's fans, and Nebraska's fans by no means are perfect, right? And there's a lot of times we allow emotion to get the best of us, right? And it allowed it to cloud our judgment and our approach to these conversations and debates. I gathered from a large group that I follow and that were popping up or at least replying to my tweets and things like that on Tuesday. I kind of gathered that, once again, if you want to call a foul on Nebraska, that's fine, but understand the difference between calling a foul just because somebody's smaller. Like, size plays a factor into this, and it was not apples to apples. Cale Jacobson going against Mara on Tuesday is not apples to apples. You cannot expect it to look normal, like a normal box out. Like, you have to be aware of that stuff going into the game. And this doesn't change if Rink Mass plays. Like, this doesn't change if Braden Frager's in the lineup. Because why? Nebraska would still have been undersized in the long run in the large conglomerate of it all. They still would have been undersized in comparison to Michigan. And so Nebraska is going to be undersized against a lot of these teams.
Especially down Frager
and Mast. And so as we go forward, like, this is where it goes on the official's responsibility, on the Big Ten Conference's responsibility. Terry Oglesby, who's the director of officiating and stuff, to pass along this valuable information of, hey, it's not going to look normal. This is not going to look like your cut and dry box out. Like, and there's more to it than just boxing out. But it's not going to look like your cut and dry basketball game when you're down in the paint and playing physical.
Let me put on my metaphysical ref hat here. Over the back is not a foul. Okay, ref hat off, right? That is not an actual call. It's something fans will get mad about all the time. But if you're going to call a foul on a player going in for an offensive rebound, it's got to be either like a push in the back or it's got to be holding them down.
Yeah.
A player can jump up and over, right? You think back to, I think it was Ohio State, the Braden Frager offensive rebound and put back. Ohio State fans were saying, oh, over the back, he went right over him, ref. Here's the thing. You can't punish a guy for having better athletic gifts.
Yeah, or being taller.
Or being taller.
Right? The same way you can't punish him for being shorter.
Exactly. And so for the Frager example against Ohio State, kind of walks the guy down a little bit. That's the savvy technique you can get away with, where you're just a little bigger, a little faster, a little stronger. You don't have to extend your arms. That's a dead giveaway for officials. Don't have to put an arm on top of and reach up with one. Dead giveaway. Frager just went up and reached over the guy, but didn't make contact that got in the way of the defensive player having a chance to go get it. Savvy play from a freshman. The Cale Jacobson one should not sit well with Husker fans. The only grace I'm going to give the refs is that it's hard to have that 360-degree view of the court.
100%.
And so when they look over, it probably does look awkward. What happens, though, is a guy like Cale gets his body into a guy, right? He's got the traditional box out form. He's walking him backwards. And then the offensive player for Michigan makes a savvy move, trying to get a call by jumping, by making it look awkward. So what does the ref see? The awkward part, right? He sees, oh, that's an unnatural movement, must have been an unfair box out. Instead of saying, oh no, Cale had contact for a second and a half or two, and then this guy, decided to jump over him to try to get the rebound. Probably not grounds for, the quote unquote over the back, offensive pushing, blocking foul. Definitely not grounds for that on Cale Jacobson. And then there's also the thing with the undercutting. That's all about when you make contact, right? If the guy's going up to get the rebound and then you hit him in the air, that's a foul. If you have contact and then he jumps up over you, that's a bad call if you get whistled for it as a defender.
There's also something to be said about, like, you can box out without making an attempt on a ball on the rebound. I think we had a text that just said that too. That's what I was going to add, is like at some point Cale can't just box out and pin the guy down, and that allows the ball then to be rebounded easier by somebody else on the floor, right?
And that's
like, you can't impede the movement or the attempt by Mara or Landenberg or whoever it was that he was boxing out.
Because at that point, it's not a basketball play. Essentially, it's the defensive version of a moving screen on offense, which is on Cale, right? You make your contact, you got position, go get the ball, but it's also on Nebraska's other players. If you see your guy working that hard, go get the ball so he doesn't get whistled for that foul. Don't let it drop. He's doing his job. Someone else crash and go get it.
That's maybe the biggest part of what I noticed on Tuesday was there were a couple of instances, right? And the NCAA and college basketball officiating over the last couple of years, they've, similar to the way that college football has put like an emphasis on pass interference or defensive holding or whatever it is, targeting 4 years ago, right? Like, that same way that they've put the emphasis in college football on those specific rules, Austin, they've put the emphasis of the last 2 years on limiting these quote unquote unnatural movements and unnatural motions. Whether it's through the flops or whether it's whatever it might be, landing zone or kicking your legs out or whatever it might be. And that's what I think bothered me the most. It was the lack of consistency, the inconsistency of Tuesday night, but then the things that you are prioritizing as an officiating organization over the course of a season, not just a game, not just a conference matchup, not just a top 5 matchup, right? I think there's also higher expectations. Better teams deserve the best officiating. Like there's just something to be said about it, to where this is a top 5 matchup between the Big Ten conferences as it stands right now, not historically, but as it stands right now. These are your 2 North Stars. Like these are your shining pieces. And to have that be a massive conversation after the game is even over 3 days later is not a great look on the Big Ten conference. So with that being said, once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline. The Starter Heyman text line is open for you guys the entire show today. Good one lined up. When we come back, I want to bring up, as Nebraska basketball continues this historic season, I'm curious on what the national perception will be going into next year. And sure, before the texters come at me in droves of the whole, Nick, enjoy the season while it lasts and enjoy it game by game, I am. But I also enjoy these big picture conversations. I think these big picture and forward-thinking conversations are really enjoyable because I think it relates, and we can relate it to Nebraska football and bowl games. And I think we can relate it to Nebraska baseball and these early season tournaments that they'll be participating in less than a month in Phoenix and in Dallas, or Arlington, I should say. And so there's not much difference. And so with that being said, I want to bring up that conversation of where does Nebraska get viewed at in terms of potentially getting invites to some more notable early season tournaments for Nebraska men's basketball next year. We dive into that. Remember, you can always reach out to Austin and myself on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, Nick_Sainert at Austin_Orman. The drive continues next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page, and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the top-selling Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to help blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide smooth energy so you can cruise through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Sports Show. Don't miss the family show of outdoor fun, the 57th annual Boat Sport and Travel Show, January 30th to February 1st at the Sandhills Global Event Center. RVs, boats, docks, golf carts, resorts, fishing lures, family entertainment, and more. See exotic animals at Wildlife Encounters. Enjoy the petting zoo and the balloon lady. Doors open at noon on Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. Bring the neighbors. See you there.
Let's fly. Your next trip starts at Lincoln Airport with American Airlines. Now flying nonstop service to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Chicago. American Airlines connects Lincoln to major hubs and destinations around the globe. Wherever you're headed, LNK gets you there with new nonstop flights on American Airlines.
Now boarding.
Convenient, fast, and stress-free. Book your next flight at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
Get back on track. Join a weight loss medication study at Solarion and earn cash in the process. If you are 19 to 65 years old with excess weight to lose, you may qualify. Participants could earn up to $15,500 for their time. Study includes 1 3-night stay, 1 2-night stay, and 26 returns. Learn more at helpresearch.com/flamingo or call 866-213-2965. Weight loss not guaranteed.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Dana Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Dana Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Dana Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tomorrow is about the lessons we learn today. A farmer's market teaches us that community is grown together. Kids laughing shows us how joy is easy. And coffee on the porch reminds us to savor every moment. These are the lessons that shape a tomorrow we all share. One filled with trust, good company, and wide open dreams. That's the way banking should be. And that's Pinnacle Bank. Member FDIC.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the show, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert, Austin Norman alongside AD. I would guess is back on Monday. I would hope that AD is back on Monday. Hopefully he's feeling better by then. obviously still under the weather, and so we're hoping and praying for AD to get better and obviously have a safe return on Monday. But for the time being, or for the remaining hour and a half of the show, Austin Norman will be joining me, and so we appreciate Austin, appreciate Jay for sitting in on Monday and Thursday of this week as well, and everybody, as we were traveling a little bit for Nebraska, Michigan, able to sit in. Rudy, as always, thank you. So 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line open for you guys the rest of the way here. I had this thought while I was just doing some stuff last night. I wanted to bring it to the airwaves today because we're getting ready for Nebraska baseball to start their season here in a couple of weeks. And before you change the channel, this is not a baseball conversation. But obviously going after the Las Vegas Bowl as well, which Nebraska played a team that probably on paper was not evenly matched with them. Nebraska was probably a little undermatched for that one. And we have the same conversation every December where we go, yeah, you know what? Nebraska's probably going to be able to punch a little bit above their weight class because they know that the fan base will travel. I think we see this with Nebraska athletics a lot. You could talk about it with Nebraska volleyball strictly from a results standpoint, but then also on top of that, they're even more appealing because of the fan dedication. They'll get opportunities like the AVCA showcase, and Nebraska's just the heart for volleyball. So I'm kind of pushing that off to the side because it's a little bit different. But we see it with football to where Nebraska's able to go to maybe bowl games that they're not necessarily qualified for in terms of on the field production, simply because they're an attractive team because Nebraska fans will travel. Husker baseball, same way. They're going to play in Phoenix in 2 weeks, I believe is what it is. 3 weeks. 3 weeks from now. And in an MLB, sponsored event. And guess what? I'm sure there will be a decent number of Husker fans that will go down because guess what? It's Phoenix in February and they just like to support their Huskers. Same way with the Dallas trip the following week after that, you're going to get to play Florida State, Louisville, Kansas State. Yeah, heck yeah. Like this is a rather affordable trip, an opportunity for us. And so then I got to Husker basketball. As we've seen Nebraska basketball gain over the last really 3 or 4 years, just so much more dedication and diehard fandom from Nebraska fans that it makes me wonder, okay, now that Nebraska's putting on the results on the floor, Austin, can they be more attractive for some of these early season tournaments? Now, like everybody knows the Maui Invitational, everybody knows the Battle for Atlantis, right? But like Nebraska played in the Diamond Head Classic last year. It's dead now.
Yeah.
But they played in the Diamond Head Classic, which is fine, but it's not like an ESPN broadcasted event. It's not one of those notable early season events. And part of me wonders now going forward, will they be more attractive?
They should, and I think they should strike while the iron's hot if possible. Here's the issue with that. Number one, does Nebraska want to do that? Think about the way that Nebraska has scheduled its non-con. Maybe it's because it's all that's been available, but it's been a non-con and an MTE slate that pushes Nebraska, that challenges them in some ways, but isn't necessarily overwhelming. I think back to the ESPN one that they played in a couple times, once under Tim Miles and then again under Fred Hoiberg.
Was that's not the Charleston Classic, is it?
It is not. No,
okay.
That was down in Orlando-ish, the Epcot Disney event or whatever.
That's right.
So Nebraska saw Dayton UCF and they saw Alonzo Ball UCLA.
That's right.
When Tim Miles was here.
Gosh, that was interesting.
And then under Fred Hoiberg, that was when Derek Walker was sending out the first 10 or so games. They saw who was like Oklahoma, Memphis, and Florida State. Who they ended up beating. That sounds about right. That's what Nebraska's done. It's where I think they'll continue to settle. Maui would be fascinating. Huge name tournament, losing a lot of prestige.
It is.
Atlantis, same sort of thing. That used to be the number 2. Also losing a lot of prestige. The tournament that's the quote-unquote in tournament right now is that Players Era Festival, which is expanding the field, but it also made a deal with the Big 12 to put a lot more of its teams in that field. They added 8 more Big 12 teams over the course of the next, I guess it is 8 teams now, with Tech, TC, West Virginia, and Kansas State joining Baylor, Houston, Kansas, and Iowa State, who have already been in the Players Era Festival. And so I think the most likely outcome for Nebraska is that it will continue to get maybe your ESPN event, probably not as much, though, because it's the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Nebraska could get more of that Hall of Fame Classic every couple of years sort of deal. Or, Nick, let's not forget, 2 years ago when Nebraska went to the tournament, it hosted its own multi-team event.
How
It
could
was
we forget?
broken up into a bunch of pieces, but you bring in Queens and Drake and
Mississippi State. Mississippi State was
for
there.
that one, and then you had the round robin with Robert Morris and Duquesne. I think we're part of that.
That's right.
That wouldn't shock me if that happens again moving forward. And why? Because you have 2 kind of pesky, could be good mid-majors. You're throwing a dart at the board. Please be good so we can get a home win over you to pin on our resume. I don't think the 3 years of success for Nebraska is enough to get them into these big tournaments.
Yeah.
Now, unless someone cancels and they say, oh, you know what? We're looking for a team that could fill. Maybe now's the chance that we can be first on Nebraska and we can make them a regular. We know their fans will travel. We think this program has staying power. There's an argument for it. It could happen. I'm not sure if organizers will see it that way or if Nebraska would even be one to jump at that opportunity.
It's so interesting. I mean, so I'm looking at the Players Era Championship. Am I wrong in thinking that there was NIL money included in this?
Oh, there's a buttload.
Yeah. I was saying NIL money is included in this, right? Which seems to be a popular way ever since the Crown happened, right? That like, hey, let's just throw a little bit of NIL money into the pool and it makes the competition that much better.
Yeah.
I remember, so the week of the Players Era Championship was the week of state football because I remember watching Iowa State Creighton while in between games at Memorial Stadium. But so that was the week of the Players Era Championship out in Las Vegas. They played at MGM where we stayed for Big Ten Media Days at Michelob Ultra Arena where they hold, what's it called?
The Aces.
The Aces. Yeah. Las Vegas Aces, where they play their home games. I mean, so I look at some of these teams and it's easy to play the comparison game because it's like, okay, wow, look, I mean, hindsight's 2020. Rutgers was in this tournament.
Well, because Rutgers was in it 2 years ago for the first one with Harper and Bailey.
And so, but like you talk about a program that's gone dramatically downhill because they sold their soul for those 2 guys and they hurt themselves through the apparel contracts and things like that. And now, I mean, they went to this and got boat raced. But so like Rutgers is in this. Oregon is a part of this as well. Maryland was in there. Syracuse was in there. Obviously, Creighton was involved in it, but not a very good team. So, like, I wonder where Nebraska stacks up in this conversation now.
Well, all of those teams have more name and brand recognition
1,000%
than Nebraska.
And so then that's where so then I go, how long will it take and how long does Nebraska need to do this to earn at least a minuscule amount of recognition? Do they need to go win the Hall of Fame Classic? Do they need to go?
Which they did, by the way.
Which they did. But like, what do they need to do? And maybe it's not so cut and dry and it's not so black and white, but it's like, what is the parameters or what is the thing that they need to accomplish to at least get into the conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I would say Nebraska's done enough, right? I mean, 3 years of this success, you've won a postseason tournament, you've been to the postseason 2 years in a row, now 3 straight 20-win seasons. I would say Nebraska's done enough to at least warrant consideration, especially when you add the soft factors of travel and fan base on top of it. But then again, there has to be Nebraska's willingness to do it. I think being in one of these tournaments would bring a sense of validation for Nebraska and for Nebraska fans. Like, yeah, why wouldn't we do this? Why wouldn't we chomp at the bit for this? Especially when I believe starting next year, teams can schedule a 30-second game.
Wow.
Won't be obligated to, but I think most of them will. It's funny we're talking about this. Robin Washer just tweeted out Nebraska has an opponent for its neutral site game next year.
Is it at Pentagon?
No, Mohegan Sun Arena.
Whoa.
Up in Uncasville, Connecticut.
Okay.
They're taking on Providence.
Wow.
PC.
The Friars.
Kim English. Yeah, not a common opponent for Nebraska men's basketball. And that'll be an early one. They should still have their Pentagon game as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this is part of the 2026 Hall of Fame tip-off event, which might qualify as Nebraska's MTE. I think it's just a standalone one game, but you get in some sort of event with some sort of name and brand behind it. So there's that for next year. But no, I mean, I think it would be worth Nebraska looking into. Coaches have complained about Maui just because they think it throws their season off when you spend that long traveling out, that long traveling back. You get some of that carryover effect for a week or two, even for some of these top teams. Battle for Atlantis, similar-ish sort of concept, but those big-name tournaments, sadly, in my opinion, have just lost so much of the prestige
100%.
that I think for Nebraska fans, if they get that Maui invite, it'd be, oh my goodness, look at Nebraska's going to Maui.
Yeah.
And it would be really cool. And I hope that we could still see a fun, inviting, welcoming Maui Invitational tournament. But I think for people that you would consider, quote unquote, in the know, going to Maui just doesn't mean what it used to. And this Players Era Festival, with all the money involved, has really sucked a lot of the air out of those other MTEs. And I think that's unfortunate.
So the Maui, just for context, the Maui participants this year were, it used to be top of the creme de la creme, right?
Yeah.
It used to be the Michigan States, the Dukes, the UCLAs. Like if you were a top team, you went.
Yeah.
Right. This year it was Arizona State, who is going to have to fire Bobby Hurley.
Yeah.
Boise State, Chaminade, NC State, Seton Hall, Washington State, and the two, I guess, leading schools were Texas and USC. Those are the most notable names. And so it wasn't a very, I don't want to say respectable field, but it wasn't a very hard-hitting, notable name field.
Let's compare this to the 2018 Maui Invitational field. This one a little near and dear to my heart. Got to scroll back. So your opening round games, Auburn, Xavier, top 25 Auburn, borderline top 25 Xavier. Duke, San Diego State, top 5 Duke. That was the RJ Cam Zion year against the San Diego State team that was about to make its run to the first Final Four, but still perennially tough Mountain West program. Arizona, Iowa State, and Gonzaga, Illinois.
Wow.
That's an absolutely loaded field. And then the games that you got down the line, you got Duke, Auburn, and Gonzaga, Arizona in the semis. And then you got Gonzaga over Duke by 2 for the Maui Invitational Championship. And just an incredibly well-played basketball game. That was the Gonzaga team with Rui Hachimura and Brandon Clark on it. That's what we used to have in Maui.
I don't know. I think it's I wish Nebraska, and this is just such a pipe dream, and it's not going to happen. I want them to bring back the Carrier Classic.
Oh, you want them to play on the battleship?
I want them to play on the ship.
Man.
Do you remember that North Carolina-Michigan State game? It was like 2010, 2011?
Yep. And they had the special digital camo uniforms or whatever they're playing out there. That was always fun. I would almost see them just go play in a military base, which I think they did.
Which they've done.
But I think one of those games got delayed because it was raining through the ceiling. So
hold on. Yeah, because I thought it was more recent. They played one military base. Because it feels like Michigan State's always that team that plays.
Yeah.
The Armed Forces Classic at Ramstein Air Base in Germany.
Yeah.
Who played? Armed Forces Classic. They played at Ramstein, Camp Butler, and Camp Humphreys. Okay, let's just click on this, see if they. So it was Louisville and UConn, November 4th, 2025, this year or last year.
Was that as recent as last year?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't even remember.
It got canceled.
It did?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why.
I was saying, I don't even remember watching it.
Oh, so here's why. And the game might have happened, but apparently it got moved due to the government shutdown.
That probably would have done it. What are our thoughts on the government? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We're not going through that. We're not going down that road. Anyway, I was curious on thoughts on. I don't know if there'd be many Husker fans that would say no to an opportunity to travel to a warmer climate. Vegas is one in November and watch Nebraska if they finish the season top 10 this year to just kick off the year next year.
Oh yeah.
And hey, you get a chance to watch them play against other top competition in the country. I think you sign up a lot of Husker fans.
2366. What about the preseason NIT at Madison Square Garden? Like the thought, NIT's ESPN associated and affiliated.
That's the other problem with it. We learned yesterday that not every company or multimedia organization that whether they have ties to the Big Ten or not, they might not know about the Big Ten.
Yeah.
That was a real bad look for CBS Sports yesterday.
They took that tweet down.
Yeah.
By the way,
It
And
was really unfortunate.
Minor soapbox. That's not even a hard thing to look up.
No.
It takes you 30 seconds of research.
And the worst part was you could tell they were looking at the schedule as they talked about it,
Mm-hmm.
and they still got it wrong.
Okay, here's my other kind of Galaxy Brain 4D chess take on this. Nebraska men's basketball's best wins still came during football season. So when most people have been paying attention to Nebraska men's basketball,
100%.
you saw them beat a really down Oregon team, Northwestern, Washington, Minnesota. Because think about it, the Michigan State win came back before Christmas or right after Christmas, right? In that kind of dead time frame, you're worried about college football playoff.
That's right.
Same with Illinois, right? That was, I think, those were the first two, right? Michigan State and Illinois.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Illinois was before Michigan State, right?
Yeah, it was Wisconsin and Illinois.
Oh, yeah, Wisconsin,
and
Illinois,
then Michigan State after
Michigan
the break.
State after that.
Yeah,
because Michigan State was like December 10th or something like that.
After the new year, wasn't it?
No, it's been long. It's been like more than a
Okay,
month.
we're going to look this up. Nebraska MVP schedule.
Maybe. Man, this is rough.
We should just have the schedule.
Was it
pulled up. We
January
can do
9th?
this. Okay, so
January 10th?
Nebraska, Michigan State was January 2nd. Yeah, the first
January
game
2nd.
after
Okay, goodness.
the new year. The Illinois win was December 13th.
December 13th.
So you're kind of in
Gotcha.
that lull between end of regular season and bowl season for Nebraska, Illinois, but still football, NFL coming down the stretch. January 2nd for Michigan State, you're just coming off the high of the college football playoff games before then, and college football is still in full swing. And since then, road win over Ohio State and Indiana, Oregon, Northwestern, Washington, Minnesota.
This is where we forget at times about those, the one win on the road at Ohio State. That's the one that even over, sure, the Indiana one was special because you came back from so many down.
Mm-hmm.
But the road win at Ohio State was one that kind of flipped things for me. That was the one that kind of flipped things for me.
Sure.
Obviously, the Illinois one matters.
Mm-hmm.
But Nebraska's played atrocious in Columbus. I mean, they just played so bad.
Yeah.
You go back to even like the days of like Jayshawn Tate.
Oh man, there we go.
I mean, those years, Amir Williams, and I'm trying to think of some other, just Sam Thompson.
Oh gosh.
He was just a high flying dunk guy.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of who was Jared Solinger.
Was he? I think he was out of the Big Ten right before Nebraska got there, or very early.
It had to be. I think it was Nebraska played Jared Solinger.
It must have been like the first year or two, because he was not there in the Big Ten for long, because they missed Evan Turner, I think, didn't they?
I think so. Yeah, they missed Evan Turner. So
They
Nebraska
might have had the 1 year of Solinger.
What would that
maybe
been like
2011, 12, I want to say, which would have been Nebraska's first year in the conference.
Nebraska lost 79-45 to Ohio State, sixth ranked Ohio State.
Yeah.
Do you remember Lenzel Smith?
Lenzel Smith. There we go.
Aaron Kraft, obviously.
Yep.
Jared Solinger, Deshaun Thomas. Deshaun Thomas was dangerous against Nebraska, especially from three.
Right.
Jared Solinger, 14 points. But he didn't have a great day. This is the team that they beat 79-45 for Nebraska.
Wait. Let me think here.
Okay. So some other Ohio State guys: Sam Thompson, LaQuinton Ross, Amir Williams.
Yep.
That's pretty much all.
Would Ubell have been on that Nebraska team?
Brandon Ubell actually had a team high 8 points for the Huskers this game. Team high 8 points. He tied one. There was a two-way tie for team high in points at 8.
Oh man.
Brandon Ubell was 2 for 3 from the field, 4 for 5 from the free throw line, 8 rebounds, 5 of them offensive. Hey, Terry Oglesby is the referee.
Hey, look at Terry go. So if Ubell's on that team, is this like Brandon Richardson era?
Yes. Brandon Richardson had 6 points.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Bo Spencer?
Bo Spencer was tied for the team high in points at 8.
Nice.
Bo and Brandon Ubell. This is the most, okay. I've talked about my affinity in the old days growing up, and for no reason at all for Tony McRae.
Uh-huh.
And this is the most, it hurts me to say this, the most Tony McRae type of game. He played 30 minutes. He had 5 points, and he shot 2 of 10 from the field.
Oof.
The most Tony, 1 of 5 from beyond the 3-point line.
I looked at that 11-12 team schedule. So that Ohio State loss came 3 days after Nebraska knocked off number 11 Indiana, the Bob Devaney Sports Center. I remember that
Tom
one.
Crean.
Tom Crean.
Because this was 20. Okay, this is going to make us all feel old. This would have been the year that they beat number 1 Kentucky. Right? Ooh, because that's good. I will say this. It might not have been 2011, 2012.
That era. I think
this was when they beat Kentucky on the last second shot. It's a lot longer than what it feels like.
Yeah.
Where it was Christian Watford
shot would have been 14 years ago.
So 2012? 2011, 2012?
It was in the 11-12 season.
Wow.
Heck of a poll.
Thank you.
Call.
Thank you.
Wow.
The other guys on this team for Nebraska, obviously David Rivers went scoreless.
Yeah.
Josiah Moore, Jorge Brian Diaz, Christopher Neiman, Mike Fox.
Yep.
So, man, Nebraska, yeah, that's tough. That's tough. And that was at home.
That was at home.
That
they
was
both
at home.
were Indiana and Ohio State.
I didn't even find maybe this one. Here we go. They lost 71-40 in that game at Ohio State. They were down 44-20 at half. Tony McRae led the way, shooting 13 points. Tony McRae led in points, rebounds, and assists this day. Tony McRae, 13, 5, and 2.
Way to go, Tony.
This was the game Jared Solinger went off.
crazy.
Yeah, this was the game Jared Solinger had it. 19 points, 12 boards.
That'll do.
That's what had happened.
In what, like 28 minutes?
That's right, 27. Yeah, that was filthy. William Buford, gosh dang. Deshaun Thomas went 7 of 9 from the field. He was unconscious. My goodness.
I'll never doubt Tony McRae dropped 40 on my team in the 2013 Cornhusker State games. We lost by 60.
Dude, Tony McRae loved the long two from the corner, from the baseline. Baseline
one dribble pull up.
One dribble pull up, fire away, and it's not a very high percentage shot, but Tony McRae loved it. I enjoyed Tony McRae growing up. I did. That was my player. But anyway, let's do it for that. Let's take a break, close out the 9 o'clock hour. We're going to have a very short segment on the other side.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the top-selling Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to help blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide smooth energy so you can cruise through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Get back on track. Join a weight loss medication study at Solarion and earn cash in the process. If you are 19 to 65 years old with excess weight to lose, you may qualify. Participants could earn up to $15,500 for their time. Study includes 1 3-night stay, 1 2-night stay, and 26 returns. Learn more at helpresearch.com/flamingo or call 866-213-2965. Weight loss not guaranteed.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, and they've built neighborhoods in and around Lincoln for over 25 years.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of January, because get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying, let's sit around the table, let's drop some plans. Let's put numbers together. Let's get a budget put together, and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in January. Try their hot chocolate latte, cookie croissants, and special winter flavor hot cocoa cream cheese on any bagel. 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward, Bagels and Joe. MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a slight chance of snow this morning. Otherwise, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day. The high near 16. Tonight, mainly clear and cold, below a 5 below. And tomorrow, a chance of snow late. Otherwise, partly sunny and breezy. The high near 20. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the show, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert alongside Austin Norman, AD, hopefully back on Monday as he is dealing with some illnesses, and so we're okay with him staying far away from us.
That's what he gets for going down to Florida, right?
Yeah. He got on Tuesday, and he talked about how, look, the weather was 85 degrees when I got down to Orlando on Sunday. Must be nice, AD. How you feeling now? No, I'm kidding. We care about you. Hopefully you feel better. Real quick segment here. Riley W. said, wow, Nick's bag is deep. Austin, I would love, in some forum, we can't do it now, unfortunately, to go toe-to-toe, and not even toe-to-toe, because it's not even a competition. It'd be like, let's just go back down on, like, former Husker basketball guys. And what do you remember about them?
The other thing we could do is Husker baseball, because Joseph Makaitis' nephew committed to Nebraska.
That is right. That's correct. He's big shortstop or talented middle infielder guy. Yeah. Because unnamed texter 6296 texted in. I grew up on Sek Henry, Ryan Anderson, and Ade Dagunduro.
Oh yeah.
And I remember Ryan. I just made the conversation or the point. Who was I talking to? I was talking to, it might have been you, Austin, at the Nebraska-Oregon game when we were sitting there. I brought up Ryan Anderson.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He came up. Yeah.
I brought up Ryan Anderson in this.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Riley W says, please do this. I will listen. I think a lot of people would listen to just Austin and I randomly rambling off names and guys. I don't know. I was pretty proud of the whole Christian Watford one just a couple minutes ago.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, I don't know if, like I remember Bear Jones, he hit that big shot against Texas when Nebraska beat number 2 Texas and stuff. Ashante, but Bear was what he went by and stuff. Nebraska is, I saw some tweet yesterday that Nebraska, they're hosting the Brazil guy over the weekend, this weekend. By the way, Ahmad Hudson not visiting Nebraska anymore this weekend.
But plans to make it back soon.
Plans to make it back soon. And I just saw a tweet. I don't follow Ahmad Hudson, but they still pop up, obviously, on our For You stuff. And I saw something. He's like, for the people that think I've canceled because I didn't want to come or something like that. I don't know. So anyway, they're having that guy from Brazil visit. And anytime they have an international guy, I just automatically go to Andre Almeida.
Sure.
I mean, 100%, especially for a forward and stuff.
Well, he was Brazilian, wasn't he?
I think so. Andre Almeida, great name. Fine player. He was fine.
He was not fine. I'm sorry. He was not good. I was not an Andre Almeida guy in the slightest.
Were you a Jorge Brian Diaz guy?
I wasn't either of those guys guy. Neither of them did anything.
I told
Andre Almeida from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Pipeline. Build the pipeline.
Build the pipeline.
Yeah, I got the Icelandic pipeline with the Thor.
Like, so Andre Almeida might have been, what, almost 20 years ago now?
Darn near.
I mean, because it'd be like that 2008 to 2, like, so what, they beat Texas, was that 07?
It would have been KD, right? Was it 06, 07 or 07, 08?
It might have been 07, 08. Because I don't remember KD being in Lincoln. But I would have also been 6 years old at that time.
2007.
Let's while you look that up, pause for 10 seconds for station identification.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, I'm trying to find it here.
It might have even been. It wasn't 2009, I don't think, because I think I'm getting the football stuff mixed up in there.
Well, Texas is really copping out here on their website. They only have the last 3 matchups on there.
Whoa!
They erased it from their history. Nebraska, Texas, MBB history. All right, let's see here. Texas comes up. Now we get the football series. No, that has not gone Nebraska's way. Let's see here. Let's see.
Wait, was Nebraska? Okay, here it is. Huskers triumph over number 2 Texas.
Was that 2009? 59, 50, 58, 55?
February 19th. Whoa, how did I get September? February 19th of 2011. Huskers triumph over number 2 Texas.
Wow, that was only 2011.
What a year 2011 was.
That would have been Nebraska's final year in the Big 12 then. Either than 10-11.
Yeah.
Yeah, right before they moved to the Big 10 for 11-12.
Drake Baronic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ravanna, right?
Andre Almeida, 10 points. 10 points and 5 rebounds in the win against Texas. Brandon Richardson had 15 points in the second half. How about that? Richardson went 9 of 11 from the free throw line.
How about that?
Nice job, B. Rich. All right, let's go to break. We could do this for hours. Let's go to break. We'll start the 10 o'clock hour. Preview Nebraska, Illinois on the other side.
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in January. Try their hot chocolate latte, cookie croissants, and special winter flavor hot cocoa cream cheese on any bagel. 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G165184. 2,500 down with proof credit.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a slight chance of snow this morning. Otherwise, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day. The high near 16. Tonight, mainly clear and cold, below a 5 below. And tomorrow, a chance of snow late. Otherwise, partly sunny and breezy. The high near 20. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Sports Show. Don't miss the family show of outdoor fun, the 57th annual Boat Sport and Travel Show, January 30th to February 1st at the Sandhills Global Event Center. RVs, boats, docks, golf carts, resorts, fishing lures, family entertainment, and more. See exotic animals at Wildlife Encounters. Enjoy the petting zoo and the balloon lady. Doors open at noon on Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. Bring the neighbors. See you there.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to get stronger just around the corner. so you can give everything you've got. Whether you want to crush a few reps before class with our expanded strength equipment or sweat it out on your way home from work. With over 2,800 locations, there's a Planet Fitness close to you, and most are open 24 hours. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends January 30th. Are you coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert.
Driving left side is Boyer, picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of B.J. Bradford up the floor to Jack Hostrider. Watch out! Mafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good!
It's on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, so Austin and I are having a heck of a time deep diving into old Nebraska basketball, and it's like just finding these little rabbit holes that we can go down. So first off, this whole thing started because we brought up Jared Solinger.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to remember that. No longer with the Boston Celtics. Used to be with the Boston Celtics, Jared Solinger. But we brought up the 70-67 win over Texas back in 2010-2011 season. Nebraska at one point, we've deep dive into the 2010-2011 season real quick. And there's some fascinating things that we found. Okay, first, Austin, let's talk about this Texas game. Because Nebraska shot a total of 10 3-pointers. And what did they have? They hit 10 of them in the first half on Tuesday.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So they shot a total of 10 3-pointers against Texas. They got...
We should preface this by saying Nebraska shot 40% from three in an upset win over Texas. You're thinking, did Nebraska, I don't know, go like 8 of 20? Did they go 12 of 30? No, Nebraska went 4 for 10.
It is so funny because Nebraska shot fewer free throws. They shot they made half the number of threes that Texas made.
Only made 4 more shots on 4 fewer attempts.
They only had one fewer one fewer turnover. Excuse me. Yeah, one fewer turnover. And they win 70-67.
And they have fewer offensive rebounds.
How about the officiating, though? 22 fouls each.
Mark Whitehead, Rick Randall, and Brent Moe. Whoever those people are.
The worst part about this game also was that it was on ESPN3.
Yeah.
People forget that when ESPN...
That's a decent Nebraska team, too.
When ESPN started this whole ESPN3 thing, it was like a free stream thing.
Yeah.
But you could only watch it on like laptops or computers. You couldn't watch it. You couldn't get it. There was no ESPN Plus to where you could get it if you had a Hulu subscription. Plus, this was not the time for smart TVs.
No.
So if you didn't you had to have the top ESPN package to have what they call full court at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was ESPN full court, and it's essentially red zone for college basketball, where they just went in and out of games. And that was this day's game.
The other things about that Texas team then, so Tristan Thompson, future NBA champion, was on that team. Corey Joseph, longtime NBA guy. And one that's probably a little closer to me is Jay Lucas.
Yeah.
Son of John Lucas, former Kentucky and Duke assistant, now current Miami head coach, played 3 minutes in that game.
So then we looked up just 2010, 2011 Nebraska. And this was a team that started 13-2.
Yeah.
And then lost back-to-back games against Missouri and Kansas.
Top 15 Missouri, top 5 Kansas. They lost by a combined 11 points.
Who would have been the coach at Missouri at that time?
I believe that would have been Mike Anderson.
I was going to say, because I'm thinking,
right?
There was a time where
Mike Anderson.
There was a really good Kansas State team that came into Lincoln and beat Nebraska, and it was Chris Martin.
Frank Martin.
Frank Martin. Sakes, yeah. Frank Martin, third time's the charm. Frank Martin was the head coach of that team before he left and went to South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
But
Frank Martin would have been the coach in 2010-11, in fact, because that was right after the Beasley era.
Was that the year that Kansas State was good?
The year before, so 2009, 2010, they went 29-8, 11-5, finished second in the Big 12, and lost in the Elite Eight to Butler. That was the Jacob Pullen, Dennis Clemente,
Yes.
Rodney Magruder team.
Because Kansas State had a point guard that was so good.
It was Pullen. Jacob Pullen.
Was that who it was?
Yeah. Jacob Pullen was legit. That would have been
Okay.
his junior, senior year. Because the team that had Beasley 07, 08 ended up with an 11 seed. Went 21-12. Beasley averaged 26, 12, and 1.
Yeah, because I remember so in 2010, 2011, they came in the Devaney Center too and beat Nebraska by 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Jacob Pullen. That's right. 6 foot tall in 2010, 2011, averaged 21 points a game.
He was kind of proto Marquise Noel for them. In a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's a good comp. That's a really good comp. Yeah, Kansas State finished 23-11 and 21st in the top 25 poll in that 2010-2011 season.
So that end of year for Nebraska after they beat Texas is worth pointing out. So they lost to Kansas State at home by 4 after losing on the road by 4. Lost at Iowa State by 1 in overtime. And that Iowa State team in 2010-2011 would have been, guess what, Nick? Fred Hoiberg's first team.
Is that right?
That was Fred Hoiberg's first Iowa State team that ended 16-16 overall. One of their 3 conference wins was a 1-point win in overtime against Nebraska, who then ended up beating top 25 Missouri at home, lost by 10 on the road at Colorado, and then went one and done in both the Big 12 tournament and the NIT. They went to Wichita State.
That's
and
right.
lost that one.
Who did they play in the
Bigly.
Big 12 tournament? Like probably Baylor?
Oklahoma State.
It felt like they always played Baylor or Oklahoma State in the Big 12 tournament first round.
Yeah.
But man, what a trip down memory lane. We can stop. We also remembered the phenomenon that was Ray Gallegos.
I looked up Ray Gallegos because you wondered what he was doing today, and I didn't find that, but I did find an article from BT Powerhouse, Big Ten Powerhouse with ST Nation. Or SB Nation. Ray Gallegos, last of the Gunners. In the midst of the statistical revolution in college basketball, a Nebraska senior stands alone in his conference. Yada, yada, yada. Ray Gallegos doesn't appear to have that second skill, and that's okay. At least it's okay if his shot is falling, as it was in his season debut against South Carolina State. Don't get me wrong here. Gallegos has the talent to be the impact senior Tim Miles needs on this team in order to compete for postseason berth. He just has to be more efficient, because if he shoots like he did a year ago, the Pine could be calling. As a primary option in 2012-13, he averaged 12.5 points per game on 36% shooting from the field, 31% from beyond the arc. It gets worse. His 46% effective field goal percentage was 943rd in the country, which means every team in D1 had an average of 2.5 players with a better effective field goal percentage than Ray Gallegos.
That's so sad. Because we found out that Ray Gallegos played on average in 2012-2013 37.5 minutes a game. He's playing rink massed minutes.
Here's the last sentence of that paragraph that I didn't read. His minutes weren't reduced last season because, frankly, Nebraska didn't have anybody to replace him.
This is good. Okay, who did they have? Who did they not have? Okay, so this 2012-2013 season, Nebraska, okay, this is the Ray Gallegos game log.
So then in 11-12, you would have had Spencer McCray, Tally Richardson, and senior Caleb Walker.
Okay, so in 2012, though, who would they have had? Yeah, you're right. Yep. Siobhan was a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Siobhan averaged 8.5 as a freshman. Andre Almeida was still there as a senior.
I think Ty Webster was just around the corner yet.
Ty Webster was just around the corner. Jordan Tyrants was a sophomore. Sergei Vucic.
Oh, yeah, Sergei.
Sergei was there. And then you had Trevor Menke, Kowski, those guys.
The other name on that team, Benny Parker.
Yeah, a freshman out of Kansas City, Kansas.
I kept waiting for either Benny Parker to grow into what we've seen from Sam Hoiberg or Sam Hoiberg to regress to Benny Parker. Sam is the much better version of Benny Parker.
Okay, here's a question. Could Sam be... Is Sam better than Glenn Watson Jr.?
They're different players.
Okay.
I don't think that's a fair comparison.
A fair comparison?
No. I think what they're asked to do is wildly different.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to what Glenn... Nebraska had a couple of those guys with like Glenn and Benny.
Sam's
and Ty that are different.
Yeah, Sam's a better defender. Sam's more of the
Much
heartbeat
better.
of the team than I think Glenn Watson was. I still feel more confident with Glenn Watson creating a shot, certainly for himself. Sam's been good at creating for others, and I don't want to knock him averaging over 4 assists per game. They're just different players, right? I think to me, the combination that you would look at, the kind of the next wave of Glenn Watson would be Jamarcus Lawrence. I think those guys, what they're asked to do, how they're I mean, Glenn had more primary ball handling responsibilities. Jamarcus has moved more off ball.
Yes.
But I think that the initial vision for Jamarcus would have been next Glenn Watson.
I think, okay, yeah, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about that, that is a better comp. That's a better comp.
I also think Glenn Watson would have gotten a lot more flowers in the Big Ten if not for going against Cassius Winston so much.
Yeah, I agree. Glenn was interesting just because that was a time where Nebraska was kind of going through, I don't want to say like a brand rebuild, because they were never built up to begin with. But like it was trying to get into this new era of Nebraska basketball. Hey, where it's, hey, there's some swagger to them. It's cool. Like it's cool to be a part of Nebraska basketball. You have the new arena, right? It just felt like they were trying to put on like a revival, and you bring in guys like, and in some order, this is not in perfect order, obviously Glenn Watson and like Copeland, and you think Isaiah Roby and Andrew White III and Anton Gill. Like, you bring in these flashier players, and maybe guys like Glenn Watson, who just kind of grinded it out and was a higher rated recruit, yes, out of where he, you know, wherever he was from. Glenn, not Chicago, Illinois. Yeah. It might have just gotten lost in the shuffle of how good he was for us.
He was a little up and down overall. I mean, especially shooting from three, but his role changed so much because think about the team that he came in with was the Andrew White team. It was Andrew White and Siobhan Shields averaging 16 a game each. You had junior Ty Webster, Glenn Watson, Jack McVay was on that team. Benny Parker was a senior, so Glenn would have been coming off the bench quite a bit. In Glenn Watson's freshman class, Michael Jacobson, Ed Morrow.
Oh, Ed Morrow.
Bakari Evelyn.
Ed Morrow's the one, I think, for Nebraska and Tim Miles in the early seasons, the one that got away.
Oh, I think that beyond a shadow of a doubt. Ed Morrow, I think, could have been new George Niang for Fred Hoiberg. Obviously, he was out of eligibility. But no, Ed Morrow was going to be something. He was going to be someone. So then the next year, then 2016-17 for Nebraska, that team just bottomed out, right? You lose Andrew White to the transfer portal. It's Ty Webster and Glenn Watson. But you had Jack McVay, Ed Morrow, Michael Jacobson still on that team. You bring Evan Taylor in at that point, right. I believe from the JUCO ranks, Jordy Shimanga's freshman year, Jariah Horn.
Yes, I remember
as
Jariah
a freshman
Horn
as well. And Isaiah Roby comes in as a freshman. It's when you get Anton Gill in as well. But then, of course, you get the 17-18 season that you have some magic there, right? Yeah. You have JPJ as the leading scorer on that team. Isaac Copeland comes in, also in the front court.
JPJ was from Miami.
Yes, transferred in from Miami by way of Brewster, by way of Washington, D.C.
That's what I thought.
That's where he came from. I think Glenn Watson and Jamarcus Lawrence were both kind of suited for that similar role where you don't necessarily want to ask them to be your number one.
Yeah.
But if they're a complimentary guy, they can do it. Glenn was more willing and capable of handling the ball than Jamarcus Lawrence was as a freshman at that point. But I think they're kind of secondary, tertiary, scoring big buckets, create a shot role. Very similar.
I pulled up Ed Morrow, and he had kind of a disappointing last couple of years
because he transferred out
with Marquette.
Trust the process, Eddie.
What's crazy is he sat out. It's weird to see these on these logs where it's did not play transfer. And because you just don't have that anymore.
Yeah. So think about this, Nick. Think about this. Nebraska could have had in 2017-18. I think that would have been Ed Morrow's senior year. Junior year. Okay, so it was his junior year.
Yeah.
Nebraska could have run out a lineup of Glenn Watson. You're probably starting Anton Gill.
Yes.
Or Evan Taylor, one of those two at that point.
I think Anton is the guy.
Okay. James Palmer on the wing.
Wow. Yeah.
And then you have either Isaac Copeland or Isaiah Roby. You know, do you have Roby coming in off the bench to back up Ed Morrow in the front court? Like, is Ed Morrow your small ball center? Are you not playing Jordy Shimanga as much and exposing him that way? I don't know.
Right.
But you would have been a little bit undersized. I mean, you only have Jordy Shimanga as the only guy over 6'9" on that roster. But that's a bunch of those kind of switchable, interchangeable dudes on the defensive end with enough offensive versality.
It's okay. This might be a good segue. Fans get every time I think of Jordy Shimanga, just a side note, I think of Ivan Wagerogo.
Oh yeah,
as well.
Oh yeah.
I just feel like they're not the same player, but they're the same player. Grand Canyon stand up. But anyway, Jordy Shimanga went to Dayton.
Risky Roads.
Yep, there you go. Okay, so this is a good segue into this season because I'm curious to see once again as we think forward for roster construction and things like that for Nebraska basketball. First off, I think Husker fans should have a lot of faith and trust in this staff. Because they have, number one, it's been relatively consistent. There's been the same amount of same bodies that are in there, especially at the top with Fred and Nate Lenzer and Ernie Ziegler. I don't think gets enough credit at times. And then now you have, Luca Virgilio, who is the GM as his official role. Those guys have maybe not Coach Ziegler, but the other three essentially been here from the start. Like this has been there from the start. And so I think there should be a lot of trust in how Nebraska goes and formulates it. You mentioned it and you said a quote about Ed Marr. You're like, man, Ed, trust the process. And I felt this way before Michigan, and I feel this way even more after Michigan. Leo Curtis is somebody, Austin, that I look at and I think, not to use the Stephen Bardo, Isaiah Roby comparison.
Here we go.
Like, he doesn't know how good he could be. And I think Leo might understand how good he could be, but it feels like it's one of those things to where for Nebraska to have somebody that can stretch the floor he can, like the way he can and what you would project him to be. If I'm Leo Curtis, like I'm encouraged for the future.
Yeah,
I think. And I hope that then trickles down the roster because for somebody like coming in next year, I don't know what the role of, if you're Quentin Rimes on the bench right now, do you want to leave this? It's such a weird, like, it seems like they just have so much fun and it's so easy to buy into it that it's hard to imagine this team having an attrition issue at the end of it all.
Yeah, I tend to agree, except for the fact that it's this day and age of college basketball.
Sure.
Where I think Leo specifically would be able to stick it out is I think there's a legitimate defined role for him next year. I think ideally for Nebraska, you get that medical redshirt for Ugnias Drusevicius.
Yep.
And you start him and Berke in the front court, but Leo's still coming in and you're playing 17 to 20 minutes per game in some role. And then by the time you're a junior, that front court is yours. You're the upperclassman. You can mentor someone else they bring in. The Rimes one is interesting to me because we said that same thing about Eli Rice.
Yeah.
There's a path, right?
And Nick Janowski.
Yeah.
I would say even Nick Janowski more than Eli just because we saw Eli Rice play.
Ooh, maybe. I was a little more disappointed and surprised by the Eli Rice transfer because I think he could have stepped into that Bryce Williams role.
I was more disappointed about the Eli Rice. I was saying that more so of like, just wait it out. There's a plan for you. There's a path. And maybe this was the plan to a certain, I mean, to be fair, this could have been the idea like all along. Not to say everybody's making the jokes about the whole Jamarcus Lawrence thing of like, hey, go and then have a good year and then come back to Nebraska.
That wasn't part of the plan.
That wasn't part of the plan.
No.
And who knows what Nick Janowski's thinking. However, he's having a good enough year now to where he'll probably be able to make that jump back to high Division I, at least on a team.
Yeah.
Does Nebraska see that as a fit? Who knows, right? Like that's a different conversation. And Nebraska, Fred Hoiberg's not out here trying to be like, hey, we're going to go allow them to go do their thing and then bring them back when we want them. That's
always a risk.
Yeah, that's not the way you want to run a program.
But I think for the conversation you wanted to have before I sidetracked, that's my
fine.
bad. Rimes fitting in the developmental process saw what the second year jump did for a guy like Braden Frager.
Bingo.
And that can pay dividends down the line because Jay and I talked about all the guys that are coming in for Nebraska, Illinois, bunch of wings, bunch of wings in 26 and 27. And I think that the more you have a track record of trust us, trust our development, this will be good for you. Number one, you don't have to rely on freshmen and young guys right away, which is helpful. And number two, you just get that ingrained in your program. If you're good enough, we'll play you. They talked about being close to yanking Frager's red shirt multiple times, but they didn't do it. They resisted the temptation. They rode it out. But there's a pretty defined track record of year two guys in the Hoiberg-Lenzer developmental system that they're going to be good at that position specifically, right? That's Fred's general position, right? That kind of, off-ball wing, two-guard type. That's Quentin Rimes. That's Jacob Lanier.
Yeah.
That's Colin Rice. That's Braden Frager. That's Donovan Davis. That could be Dawson Batty. That could be Alasanko coming in from Brazil, maybe more down the positional spectrum at the 4. Yep. London Dada from Westside, right? All those guys fit that similar archetype. Nebraska's not going to land all of them. But if you get, obviously Rice and Lanier already in the fold, that's a big deal.
Which I'm real intrigued with Jacob Lanier.
Yes, dude's putting up numbers down there.
And obviously, like Colin Rice with the Waukee Northwest connection, you it's easy to pair the release and everything because you also know he's close with Price Sanford. Like you pair the connection there. Might not be as effective, but to the same type of player.
But these guys have the blueprint. They can see it in front of them.
Yes.
You're not selling hope. You're not selling just trust us. You're selling,
absolutely.
Hey, look at this. Price Sanford has a decision to make this offseason. This could be you in 2-3 years.
I think there's a lot of excitement. Let's take a break here. We were going to preview Nebraska, Illinois this segment. We'll do that next segment here coming up in just a few minutes as Nebraska hosts the Fighting Illini, a big chance to get a sweep over a top 15 team, a team that's playing really well. They're coming in off of a 9-point win against Washington last night. PBA, always rocking. Sunday's going to be special. Sunday's going to be a very special environment. We're looking forward to it. Don't go anywhere. We'll preview Nebraska and the Fighting Illini Sunday at 3 p.m. at the tip-off. We're already to the month of February 1st. But there's also another big Big Ten game tonight that you want to keep tabs on for regular season conference championship purposes. We'll talk all about that as we got 30 minutes left in the show. We get you ready for one-on-one with DP and then Adam Carricker, obviously, coming up at noon. It's The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a slight chance of snow this morning. Otherwise, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day. The high near 16. Tonight, mainly clear and cold, below a 5 below. And tomorrow, a chance of snow late. Otherwise, partly sunny and breezy. The high near 20. I'm meteorologist Kyle looking for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G13885 and G16518. 2,500 down with proof credit.
Is your furnace ready for the cold winter? Call the pros at Bryant. No matter what make or model, Bryant will perform a thorough heating check, giving you peace of mind, or steps to ensure a warm home throughout the season. Bryant also offers free second opinion heat exchange checks. Before you spend thousands on a new furnace, let Bryant check it free. Anytime you need furnace service or repair, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to get stronger just around the corner, so you can give everything you've got. Whether you want to crush a few reps before class with our expanded strength equipment or sweat it out on your way home from work. With over 2,800 locations, there's a Planet Fitness close to you, and most are open 24 hours. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends January 30th. Are you coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Sports Show. Don't miss the family show of outdoor fun, the 57th annual Boat Sport and Travel Show, January 30th to February 1st at the Sandhills Global Event Center. RVs, boats, docks, golf carts, resorts, fishing lures, family entertainment, and more. See exotic animals at Wildlife Encounters. Enjoy the petting zoo and the balloon lady. Doors open at noon on Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. Bring the neighbors. See you there.
Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own experts at Dio Technologies can turn your living room into the place to watch your favorite sports. Whatever your vision is, Dio Tech is ready to make it a reality. From home theaters to outdoor entertainment spaces, they bring you along through the entire process to make sure you get exactly what you want. If you're ready to upgrade your entertainment space, visit Diotech online at diotech.net or give them a call at 402-793-5124.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town. MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page, and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966.
At Anderson Ford, we have commission-free guides who are paid to give you a great experience, not make a sale, so you can choose the best vehicle for you. Right now at Anderson Ford, lease a 2025 Ford Escape for $222 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 4003618. Lease for $222 per month for 36 months with approved credit. 7,500 miles per year. 5,000 plus first payment due at signing. No security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 2226.
This ain't pop. This ain't pretty. This is Southern hospitality. The Black Crowes. Blues-soaked guitars, outlaw swagger. The Southern Hospitality Tour. Rock and roll the way it was meant to be. Loud, raw, and real. The Black Crowes. With South Hall, August 4th. Pinewood Bowl Theater and Lincoln's Pioneers Park. Tickets on sale Friday, February 6th at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. As always, 402-464-5685. You are more than invited, more than welcome to join in on the show as we break down Nebraska versus Illinois. Nick Sainert alongside Austin Orman. Also, feel free to shout us out or mention us on our Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Cable Channel 961. Austin, a couple of things. Let's start with this one. Tonight, a big matchup in the Big Ten Conference between Michigan and Michigan State. This one is in East Lansing. These teams will play twice on the rest of the year. They have not played yet. Obviously, number 3, Michigan, coming off of a win against Nebraska, and Michigan State, who playing some of their best ball as of late as well. And so, big one tonight for Nebraska basketball. It's out of their control necessarily what happens tonight. However, Nebraska controls their destiny, and you did some
outside of one scenario.
Yes, and you did the research, and I'm going to let you have the floor with this, of how the door to a regular season conference championship is wide open for Nebraska.
It has probably never been more open. Even the year that Nebraska went 13-5 in the Big Ten, it was not this close to open. Even, 2 years ago when Nebraska finishes in a tie for third and gets the 3 seed in the Big Ten conference, it was not this open. Right now, I double-checked the KenPom numbers during break. Nebraska, Michigan, Michigan State, and Illinois all are given a 16-4 projected Big Ten conference record. Next is Purdue at 14-6, and you have a couple contenders in UCLA and Iowa with projected 12-8 records. Okay, but that's still 4 games of cushion, and Nebraska will see UCLA and then Iowa twice. Yeah, so Nebraska controls its own destiny there. But among those top-tier teams as we see them right now, Purdue slid back a little bit. They're 7-3.
Yeah.
But I still think you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. And they're up here because guess what? Nebraska plays them. But the reason that I think it's valid to talk about how open Nebraska's door is to a regular season Big Ten championship is because, Nick, if you look at kind of the top third of teams, and Wisconsin was in the top third, and I did this yesterday, so throw them in there when you take these into consideration. Nebraska only has 2 games of its 10 against the top third of the conference. It's Illinois and it's Purdue. And those are both at home in the next now 11 days. Illinois on Sunday, and then Purdue in still 2 Tuesdays from now on February the 10th. Man, I think ideal is you win both of them.
Yeah.
The best case scenario, though, I think for Nebraska at this point is probably a sweep of Illinois because they have the same conference record as you now. If you assume Purdue's going to make a run, you can live with the split with Illinois and you'd have tiebreaker over Purdue. But tonight, if you're a Husker fan, I think you're rooting for Michigan State. I think
1,000%.
Because the only team that you do not control your own destiny against right now in that top tier is Michigan by virtue of head-to-head.
You're absolutely right. So I pulled up all 4 of these schools: Purdue, Michigan, Michigan State, Illinois, their remaining schedules, right? Because we're pretty familiar with Nebraska's, right? And outside after about February 10th, it becomes fairly easy. No, I don't want to say the word is manageable. That's the word I'm looking for. Yes.
You have the chance to go on a run.
Yes, because you're done with the gauntlet. You're done with the gauntlet of Michigan, Illinois, Purdue, Michigan State. The 3 other team or 4 other teams that you're really fighting against, right? And here is Purdue's schedule and who they still have to play. They have to go. So first off, Sunday afternoon, they have to go to Maryland, which for a Purdue team that's lost 3 in a row, on the road at UCLA, at home against Illinois, and on the road at Indiana, you cannot chalk that up as a win necessarily. Maryland on the road in College Park. Obviously, we know that Purdue will travel to Nebraska. How about this back-to-back? Nebraska, at Iowa versus Michigan.
Woo!
That's 3 in a row for you. You still have to play Indiana again. You have to play Michigan State again, and you have to go to Ohio State.
Yeah,
those are, and there's a couple other ones against like Wisconsin, Northwestern in there as well, but in Oregon, right? But those are bottom third of the conference, or not bottom third, but Northwestern and Oregon are. For Michigan, this is the big one, and Michigan has a heck of a schedule coming up. Michigan State obviously tonight, at Purdue, at Illinois, versus Michigan State, at Iowa. And then there's also some that are like at Ohio State. Penn State's in there as well. But
I think you have to include Ohio State on the road, given it's a rivalry game.
I do too. I 100% agree. Michigan State is in the same. They have to play Michigan 2 times. They have to play Illinois again. They have to play Purdue. They have to go to Indiana. They have to go to Wisconsin. There's a couple of in there. Illinois is the only one that has I would compare it to Nebraska's schedule as manageable, because after Nebraska, you will have 1 game against Michigan State, 1 game against Michigan, but then the rest are just Wisconsin, at home against Indiana. They have the West Coast trip the same way Nebraska does. They host Oregon. They go to Maryland. Very similar to what Nebraska does. But to your point, Austin, if you're able to win Sunday, which now we can go and kind of preview this game on Sunday, Nebraska versus Illinois, 3 p.m. tip-off. We know all of the outside stuff going on. Whiteout, big recruiting weekend. Nebraska taking care of business Sunday. essentially puts Nebraska in the driver's seat to say, we don't have to worry about Illinois at all the remaining parts of the year.
It does, which still sounds funny. Nebraska take care of business. They will still be the higher ranked team.
Yeah.
And I've been beating the drum for the Sky's not falling. This team's not going to be, crushed by one loss.
I agree.
But there's a reason that was a 3-point game on the road. And you can't just assume a win because Nebraska won on the road. They're going to absolutely turn around and do it at home. Nebraska has plenty of reasons to be confident. It's still going to be a challenge, right? I still think this is a game that comes down to the wire. Ken Pom has it projected as a 76-74 game in favor of Nebraska to give the Huskers a 57% chance to win that one. Helping Nebraska's case is that Illinois does not turn teams over defensively. They're like bottom 3 in the country in terms of turnover percentage on defense and steal percentage, especially, right? Illinois is just not that disruptive defensively there. Problem is they're a little bit better at the rim, right? We know they're a big team. They're an elite offensive rebounding team. They take, quote unquote, good shots. And how about this, Nick? They're the number 1 adjusted efficiency offense in the entire country.
Wow.
Right now. And that's through all games. And when you go look at just the Big Ten games they've had, they're still number 1 in the Big Ten. Their offensive efficiency dips by 5.5 points or so, but it's still 125 points per 100 possessions, which is just bonkers nuts off the charts. They're long, they're athletic. Keaton Wagler has really, really grown into his own, but who was one of those guys that hurt Nebraska the first time? It was Kylan Boswell.
It was.
Really played a role for them. He had 20 points in that game. Most of that game, 7 of that was at the free throw line. Also made a few threes. Wagler was good in that one. He had 19 points and made 4 threes. Also had 10 assists. Going to be interesting to see just how different this Illinois team looks against Nebraska with no Kylan Boswell, because he's been a big piece of what they do. But since he's went down, they haven't really missed a beat because Keaton Wagler stepped up to the challenge. Nebraska doesn't draw a lot of fouls. This might be a game that you're hoping for a bit of a, home cooking whistle, right? Can you get Wagler in foul trouble? Can you get one of the bigs in foul trouble so you can play this game more the way you want? On top of what's the Frager status? What's the mass status, right? Nebraska knows how to play with Illinois. I don't think this is going to be a blowout game either way. But again, Nebraska just lost its first game by losing on the margins. It was 1 or 2 plays short. If it's going to come down to 1 or 2 plays again, what'd you learn from Michigan, and can you apply that again at home?
I think also the other side of this is you're going to need a couple of guys to maybe bounce back a little bit. Like I look at Price Sanford, 5 of 16 from beyond the 3-point line. It's so bizarre for us to sit here, Austin, and say, yeah, go ahead. Like, go ahead and shoot 16 more this week.
Oh, yeah.
Like, go ahead. Let it fly from beyond the 3-point line. Because I think there's so much confidence in that he's not going to go 5 of 16 again. And it's so weird. Am I wrong on that? Do you feel differently?
Well, the thing is, so when you have a guy that shoots it as efficiently as Price Sanford does, it's great that you have a 40% 3-point shooter. If you're going to take the math all the way to the logical extreme and you say that 33% is the break-even point, Price Sanford, according to the math, is only shooting enough when he's at that break-even point. That's at 33, 34%. Now, you got to factor in the basketball isn't played on spreadsheets, and, you'd rather have a guy shoot 4 for 10, like I think Price Sanford was, as opposed to going 1 for his last 6. So if you're going to play the math, Tampa Bay Rays style, Mike D'Antoni, Houston Rockets style, all the way to its logical extreme, 5 of 16 is fine for Price Sanford. But I think Nebraska would rather have the ball in the basket more and have more possessions end with the ball in the basket. So you end that way. No, you're probably not looking for 5 of 16, but I think if you tell me there are 3, 4, even 5 more games where Price Sanford is going 5 of 12, 6 of 13 from long range, that's great, right? When he and Frager go 7 of 11 from 3, that's incredible. Okay, shoot more, get more up if you're that hot, right? The math is going to work out in your favor in the long run.
I think also the other side is when Nebraska beat Illinois in Champaign, you'll remember Price Sanford started unconscious in that first half. He finished with 32 points, was 6 of 11 from beyond the 3-point line, but he did a lot of his damage inside as well. He was 6 of 7 from 2-point on 2-point shots against the Illinois Fighting Illini back in Champaign in early December. And so with that being said, I think there is something to include that Price, he has the ability to destroy you from beyond the 3-point line, but also his awareness and understanding of when he can take it to the rim as well.
Yeah.
Against Illinois, using since that's the opponent Nebraska's going to be playing, and it's the first time that they've played an opponent the second time now this season. It's what does Illinois do differently? What did Illinois learn from Michigan in the second half? And then how does Price combat that offensively and contrarily?
And I think this could be a game, too, where I'm going to say it so I'm blue in the face. Jamarcus Lawrence step up.
Yeah.
Jamarcus did a fantastic job in the first half against Michigan.
You're right.
And then Michigan found a new way to guard him, right? If you're Jamarcus Lawrence, you're going to have your hands full, you and Sam Hoiberg both defensively guarding Keaton Wagler. A good way to wear a guy down by the end of the game is to make him work on defense, too.
Yeah.
Don't stand still. Take things into your own hands. Go at it. Wagler's not big. He'll compete. But you can get your shoulder into it. You absolutely can. Wear that guy down.
I think that's why I was surprised we didn't see Price a little more success in the second half on Tuesday. Is because Price, I would love to see this catapult stats, the tracking stuff that they wear, the catapult stats on Price on a game, or in Sam. Like, obviously Sam's fascinating too, but like with Price, because he tries to move, and in the first half when he's going and when he's kind of in a rhythm, he moves without the basketball so well and nonstop that I would love to see the catapult stats that track that for him.
That's the secret sauce for these high volume, high efficiency 3-point shooters is the conditioning.
Yeah.
Price isn't Steph Curry, but same sort of thing. They're used in similar-ish ways where they're just on the move constantly. And it's one thing to be on the move, but to move with a purpose, to set up your cuts, to be able to get free from some of the hand checks or the jersey grabs. And then by the end of the game, to continue to have your legs underneath of you to hit those shots. Nebraska didn't get the same quality of look mid-late second half and on against Michigan as it had in the first half. That's a testament to Michigan.
Yeah.
It's a tip of the cap to the fact that Nebraska was down players as well, that Sanford didn't have his legs. But even though the looks weren't quite as good, maybe with a little bit more legs, maybe with an extra day off to prep for this game, maybe with being back home, that's that extra little bit of juice that Price Sanford needs to go, 6 of 16 or 7 of 15 instead of dropping off to 5 of 16.
We will hear from Fred Hoiberg. We are expected to hear from Fred Hoiberg around 11:30 or so, whenever the conclusion of practice is down at Pinnacle Bank Arena today. And so we're getting a lot of text asking about the updates on Mast and Frager. I think you're pretty encouraged and hopeful by the outlook on Rink Mast, because it was just a stomach flu, right? And so hopefully through IVs and all the fluids and everything that they're working through that, they've gotten past it. Especially with 2 more days still to play or to kind of get ready and prepare. Brandon Frager's the big one. We don't know. We honestly don't know. I think the hope is that he can give it a go, but also, Austin, you got to be a little more conscious that this is you're playing for a lot more than just like trying to get into the Big Ten tournament. You're not pressing right now to try to say, hey, we need everybody available at this point so we can make a run like we usually need to. And in the month of February. Let's step aside. Super Bowl squares. The time is here. The season is here. Everybody's favorite Sunday is next Sunday, February 8th. Super Bowl Sunday between the Pats and the Seahawks. We're giving away prizes like we do every single year. We're going to be at Buffalo Wings and Rings like we are year after year. A staple of the Super Bowl is that 93.7 The Ticket is at Buffalo Wings and Rings. That's 68th and 0. If you want to, we will have a trivia question on the other side, and the first 4 to get the trivia question right is going to be entered into our Super Bowl squares. You do not get to pick your square. You just get input into a square. That's just the rules. If you want to also, you can show up. We'll have a separate Super Bowl square sheet at Wings and Rings of the day of the game, so you can get there early. Guess what? Double the chances to win. Super Bowl Squares trivia coming up next here on 93.7 The Ticket as we round out the show.
Get back on track. Join a weight loss medication study at Solarion and earn cash in the process. If you are 19 to 65 years old with excess weight to lose, you may qualify. Participants could earn up to $15,500 for their time. Study includes 1 3-night stay, 1 2-night stay, and 26 returns. Learn more at helpresearch.com/flamingo or call 866-213-2965. Weight loss not guaranteed.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to get stronger just around the corner, so you can give everything you've got. Whether you want to crush a few reps before class with our expanded strength equipment or sweat it out on your way home from work. With over 2,800 locations, there's a Planet Fitness close to you, and most are open 24 hours. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends January 30th. Are you coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Sports Show. Don't miss the family show of outdoor fun, the 57th annual Boat Sport and Travel Show, January 30th to February 1st at the Sandhills Global Event Center. RVs, boats, docks, golf carts, resorts, fishing lures, family entertainment, and more. See exotic animals at Wildlife Encounters. Enjoy the petting zoo and the balloon lady. Doors open at noon on Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. Bring the neighbors. See you there.
Sports Show. Is your furnace ready for the cold winter? Call the pros at Bryant. No matter what make or model, Bryant will perform a thorough heating check, giving you peace of mind, or steps to ensure a warm home throughout the season. Bryant also offers free second opinion heat exchange checks. Before you spend thousands on a new furnace, let Bryant check it free. Anytime you need furnace service or repair, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page, and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966. Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
This ain't pop. This ain't pretty. This is Southern hospitality. The Black Crows. Blues-soaked guitars, outlaw swagger. The Southern Hospitality Tour. Rock and roll the way it was meant to be. Loud, raw, and real. The Black Crows. With South Hall, August 4th. Pinewood Bowl Theater and Lincoln's Pioneers Park. Tickets on sale Friday, February 6th at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
Now back to the drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in one final time on the show, and teased it before the break. 402-464-5685. Get your texting fingers ready. The first 4 that get this number correct is they're going to be entered into our Super Bowl squares. Now, very, very important piece here. You cannot win more than 1 square on the radio. You cannot win more than 1 square on the radio. So if you won on early break this morning, you cannot win more than 1 square on the radio.
And we have your information. We write it down.
We do.
We keep track. You can't fool us.
When if you want to send in your email and phone number with it, that would be much appreciated. We're going to need it at some point anyway. So we'd appreciate that. Here is the trivia question. We went down the rabbit hole of old Nebraska basketball players, guys we grew up watching. We brought up one that we actually talked about when up in the press area, Austin, when Nebraska played Oregon. And that was the guy by the name of Ryan Anderson. I need to know, what number did he wear? What number did Nebraska basketball, I will say guard/forward. He held the basketball a lot. What number did Ryan Anderson wear?
Ryan Anderson listed as a forward, I believe. He was a guard size at 6'5".
Yeah, he was listed as forward. That's why I said guard forward.
And that's the difference between the Ryan Anderson that attended Cal and carved out a decade-plus long career in the NBA and Nebraska's Ryan Anderson.
All right, we have our 4 winners. Sean P. from Eagle, David Frioff, Brian H., and William Pate. They are your 4 winners. And the answer, 44. Ryan Anderson wore number 44 for the Huskers. So if I just called your guys' name, Sean P. from Eagle, William Pate, David, and Brian, do not win anymore. Do not text in answers anymore because we don't want to get confused. But those 4 are now officially in for our Super Bowl squares. Once again, let me make this very clear. You can win another Super Bowl square if you show up at Wings and Rings. You cannot do it over the radio.
Got to be one of the first 100, though, at Wings and Rings.
Austin, let's give predictions. If you don't want to give yours for Nebraska, Illinois Sunday, to give us a key, but what's your thoughts on Nebraska, Illinois Sunday?
Yeah, should be a great game. Let's not forget that when Nebraska went out and beat Illinois on the road the first time, it was with essentially nothing from Braden Frager. That was not a big Frager game. That was a Jared Garcia game. And I think with a front line like this, Jared Garcia needs to look better than he did against Minnesota and against Michigan. That's a guy that needs to be confident. He's got to play some minutes for Nebraska. Curious if we get some Euro-on-Euro action between Leo Curtis and the Ivisic brothers in the front court. But like pretty much every Nebraska game, Nick, it's going to come down to, can the Huskers hit enough shots, right? Can they get in front of Wagler enough and force him into tough ones? Can they force Illinois' role guys like Ben Hummerkaus or maybe even the Ivisic brothers to cast from 3 and not hit? And can Nebraska continue to apply that pressure on the offensive end, right? Illinois is not going to be scared to match Nebraska shot for shot. They have the personnel to do it, unlike maybe a Northwestern or a Washington or a Minnesota whose juice run out there on the offensive end at different points in that game. I don't know if I'm ready to say a prediction yet. I think if you're a Husker fan, you should feel really good about this team. I think it's in a pretty good headspace. Like you said, curious to hear from Fred Hoiberg and hear what he has to say after practice today. But there's no reason Nebraska fans shouldn't be confident in Nebraska coming home with a whiteout, with a big recruiting weekend. I assume Nebraska will put on a show. Nebraska and Illinois have had some really good battles recently. Whether or not it goes Nebraska's way, we'll see on Sunday. But there's plenty of reasons that Husker fans should feel good about this team getting back on the winning track.
I'm right there with him. I will give a prediction. This will be my last time on the air until after the game on Sunday. I think Nebraska wins this one. I don't want to say comfortably, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the 6-10 range and maybe with some free throws gets
free throws. Nebraska isn't allowed to shoot those, I thought.
That's right. But with some free throws, maybe gets a little bit over that 10-point differential. I think we see a Price Sanford bounce back. I think this could be a game where ranked
bounce back from 22 points. Poor guy.
Yeah, I know. But in terms of 5 of 16 from beyond the 3-point line, Price was disappointed when we talked to him after Michigan on Tuesday. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he has some creative things up his sleeve. Don't go anywhere. Thanks to Austin Norman for filling in for AD. AD hopefully healthy and back on Monday. And don't forget, one-on-one with DP coming up next. Don't go anywhere here on 93.7 The Ticket. We will talk to you on Monday.
At Anderson Ford, we have commission-free guides who are paid to give you a great experience, not make a sale, so you can choose the best vehicle for you. Right now at Anderson Ford, lease a 2025 Ford Escape for $222 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 4003618. Lease for $222 per month for 36 months with approved credit. 7,500 miles per year. 5,000 plus first payment due at signing. No security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 2/2/26.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence